Welcome to Ultimate Report. I'm Mary Winkenwerder. When women are young, gravity seems to pay no attention to the features. As life is lived, this changes. One of the grim realities of these changes is that the breasts start to sag a bit. How can the reality of this situation be softened? This episode we meet with Dr. Van Natta, who will tell us more about a perkier type of breast lift. Dr. Van Natta, welcome to Ultimate Report.
Thank you, Mary. Glad to be here.
It's great to have you join us. So, shaping and reshaping women's breasts is big business. Why is this?
Well, two reasons. Going away anytime soon. The effects on women's breasts after their milks have been or their breasts has been engorged with milk, it stretches, and our skin, some of our skin's a little stretchier than others. It depends on how much milk comes in, and then gravity is working on that. So the net effect is breasts that were perkier at one point now tend to be stretched out and a little deflated looking, and that's where a breast lift comes in.
So it seems to be so simple to get a breast augmentation, or it has been made to seem this way. What is the new interest in reshaping breasts as opposed to just getting them replaced altogether?
Well, that's a good question. They're actually two different concepts. A breast implant is primarily to supply volume, whereas a breast lift is to improve the appearance of the skin brassiere. Think of it as being overstretched, and if your bra didn't fit, you might be able to take out some material, put in some seams, and make that fit. Now, sometimes, if it's just a slight deflation, placing an implant using that volume can fill up some of that laxity. And actually, for some women, we do both things. We tighten up the skin brassiere and also add volume. So they're really two different things. Breast aug, relatively speaking, is a little easier, a smaller incision, relatively quick recovery time. But a breast lift involves us taking away extra skin and then putting things back together.
Let's talk about the actual breast lift. What all does this particular procedure entail?
Well, again, as I mentioned, it's removing some extra skin. Now, there can be variations on this. Some people don't need as much. In some cases, I can get by with just removing a little skin, pulling the nipple up, taking some skin out the bottom. But most of the time, in a conventional lift, it's quite a skin pattern that we have to remove to get rid of that extra skin, much as if you were sewing and your pants leg was too baggy and you took out material and then made a seam. We've got scars involved, but we try to place those in a way that they're not as noticeable, and as they fade over time, most patients find them to be acceptable.
So for this particular procedure, what does post-op look like, and what can recovery time look like in general?
Well, you know, for most of my patients, they really don't talk about having pain with this. I think that's important to realize. It's primarily, again, a skin procedure. Burning, stinging, discomfort, those are the types of words that they use. And yes, you have some swelling and bruising, and it's going to take anywhere from a few days to a few weeks to watch that resolve. But I've had people really be back to work and functioning, being able to drive their kids to school and to sporting events and whatnot within 4 or 5 days of the surgery. So it's really not a bad one in that regard, and the recovery's fairly easy.
Wow. So are there any new developments in doing breast lift that are improving patient outcomes and giving better lifts?
Well, actually there are, and I have to tell you, Mary, I'm really excited about a new development, a new material that we have at our disposal. This is called GalaFLEX, and it is an absorbable mesh-like material that we can use at the time of a breast lift. We can place that material internally. So after we've lifted up the skin flaps and we've kind of pushed the breast up in the position we want, we can put this in, think almost like a little bit of an internal bra. Now, I mentioned that it's absorbable, right? So the mesh, when we put it in, the body sees it as a foreign material, tries to encase it in collagen. So we're really tricking the body into doing what it does naturally. Once it encases that material, that collagen is your own tissue. So as the mesh dissolves, which happens over 12 to 18 months, it leaves that collagen sling or support internally to help hold the breast up. And why this is important is historically, we would overlift breasts, anticipating that gravity effect was going to pull things down. And in some patients with stretchier skin or heavier breasts, they lost more of that upper volume. They still looked better than they did before, but many times they would say, you know, I like my result, but I really liked it in that first month or two when I had more fullness before things settled a bit. Well, the GalaFLEX allows us to maintain that appearance and not lose very much at all of that fullness that is maintained. So the end result is a more youthful appearing breast for a long time. And so that is making our results better than they were before.
Wow, that is very exciting. That is incredibly exciting. So, wow, this is great. So, doctor, where can we catch up with you online and find out more about GalaFLEX and how you incorporate this into service?
Well, my individual website is indyplastic.com. You can find us there, and also you can go to the GalaFLEX website and be able to learn more about the product there and what surgeons in someone's particular area might be offering it. Now, don't be surprised. You may talk to surgeons that haven't heard of this. This is really a cutting-edge technology, but if you go to the website, you'll be able to find more information.
That's great. And for those who like to engage in online community activity, where can we catch up with you online?
Well, actually, if you go to indyplastic.com, we've got our blog, our Facebook links, all of that will be contained there.
Fantastic. All right, Dr. Van Natta, thanks so much for joining us. It's been great having you on the show.
I've really enjoyed it, Mary. Thanks for having me.
Of course. Catch up with me on my blog, www.beautybeautereport.com, and on YouTube, Ultimate Report. Everyone, thanks so much for joining us on Ultimate Report. Have a beautiful and successful week. Mwah!